What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your guy, Stephen D. It's a late night. It's late night, and we're here. And we got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about mental health and suicide prevention tonight. This is a little bit different than what we're used to doing. Hello. Hey there. I am your host, Stephen D. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. Very important show that I was asked to do. And I'm going to bring on my sister from another mister. Love her to death. Y'all know her. Y'all love her. AKA Doll Freaky's in the building. What's up, Doll Freaky?
What's up, Steve? Thank you so much for doing this for us.
No problem. I was more than grateful and excited to do it, and I thought we should do it. So I had no beefs about it. I wanted to do it. I was super excited to do it, and we also have somebody else that's joining us this evening. I'll let you introduce them.
Yeah, so one of my brothers from the Raiders Nation, EJ, also known as Pinoy Raider, he reached out to me and he asked if we would do a suicide awareness podcast together. And obviously it's a cause that's like very near and dear to my heart after the passing of my friend Jay. So I was like, yes, like let's definitely do this. We are in Suicide Awareness Month. And so it's very important that we get our messages and our stories out there, and we just make it known that, you know, we're all family and we can talk these things out. So let's just have some open dialogue about it.
Definitely. Pinoy, thank you for joining us, man. I'm super excited that you're here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I know despite the time differences, I think it means a lot to share this story with you guys and to be featured onto a podcast like this. And I've seen what Ali has done ever since we started following each other on Instagram. Because funny thing was, we were actually at the same revenue or venue at the draft for Elite Superfans, and I happened to see her and her husband. Was it Jared, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I happened to see Jared right around the corner, and for where I was at, I'm like, oh, these people must be from Miami. I'm hoping I can meet them, build my connection.
I'm sure something gave it away that they were from Miami.
I don't know like their outfit that they wore, the blue and the orange. But you know, like that venue was like so crowded, a lot of people happened to recognize me at the venue. Then I'm taking pictures with them and just conversing with everybody. Then with the part of social media, I happened to find Ali on Instagram, and then I had found out actually suicide prevention meant a lot to her. So I reached out to her. I told her like, hey, like I created these wristbands in honor of my friend Alex and the t-shirts as well too. What's your guys' shirt size? Because I do have some extras, and it happened that the two shirt size I had for her and Jared were the ones that they were. So I sent to them. They're like, oh, how much is it? I'm like, oh, don't even trip. I got y'all.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, because he did send us so many of these suicide awareness bracelets that every single one of those bracelets that you sent was distributed to somebody who wanted it, you know, felt some sort of personal connection with the cause and the, you know, maybe had a personal experience with, you know, suicidal thoughts or mental health issues, whatever. So yeah, like I spent weeks like mailing these out to people, handing them out at the tailgates and things like that. So
I appreciate that.
Just so you know, they didn't go to waste.
No, I'm gonna send you my address, and I definitely want some.
I got you.
I think I got one left for you, Steven.
Okay, well then I'll see you this weekend, and I'll get it from you this weekend.
Actually, speaking of which, though, I actually put a package together for Ali because I just had a new shipment of wristbands right before the season started. So thank God it was perfect timing. Yeah. So Ali, I got you a package. Steven, I definitely will send you a package as well too for you to hand out to people as well.
I appreciate it.
And for you to keep for yourself too. It's all for great cause too, so I don't really charge anyone. Honestly, this is the reason why I work hard for these for causes like this, knowing that like it's a big part of me, and like I put the extra blood, sweat, and tears to be able to spread awareness and do things what I'm doing, especially when I draw for the games for the Raiders, knowing that they're out here in Las Vegas, and I'm currently in California, which is about 20 minutes. I'm actually in the Bay Area, 20 minutes from Oakland, so it motivates me to work hard.
Yeah, so do you know Raider Squid?
Yeah, I know Raider Squid.
Yeah, so he and I have collaborated on a few things as well, because you know, it's like a big cause to him too. So he did send me a shirt too. And it's really important to know that like there's other fans out here like talking about it, and that, you know, I don't want people to feel like, you know, there's this stigma surrounding this topic. You know, it is something that we can discuss. It is something that you don't have to be ashamed of, and there is help available. So as we posted on the graphic earlier, 988 988 is the suicide prevention hotline, and it's open 24/7. And so there are people on standby to talk to you about whatever you're going through, to help you get help. And even if you just need to talk. So it's very important to know that you don't have to like dial a big long phone number anymore. You can text it and you can call it. It's as easy as that. So, besides 911, now we have 988. So important resources for everyone to know about.
So before we dive into everything, I can only speak for Ali and myself and Pinoy. I'm sure you're in the same boat as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mental health is something that goes along with this. I have spread kindness, positivity, and love. I spread kindness t-shirts. It's contagious. I'm always preaching that on Fridays on my morning show. I talk about spread kindness, and we do spread kindness Fridays, which is awesome. But I'm big into like the mental health aspect, and the two people we're gonna tell you about two kind of people, two wonderful, amazing people tonight. Jay Villa, and I don't want to pronounce his last name incorrectly. You say his last name, Pinoy. I want to make sure. Alex
Zonio.
Two amazing gentlemen, who both had mental health issues and unfortunately lost their lives to suicide, and we want to talk about that, and so having a platform like myself to be able to talk about this, I think, is very important, because we never know what somebody's dealing with. You never know what the person next to you is dealing with, and I think that if there are times where we just feel down and alone or vulnerable, I think understanding that reaching out is important, but understanding us as people, as friends, we also need to reach out to people, and you never know what somebody's going through, and you never know how much a text to somebody, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," can change their whole demeanor like that.
Yeah, definitely. I tell you, I can confirm that.
I think
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of people are afraid to reach out. They don't want to be a bother. They don't want to be a burden. Those are the types of things that I hear, from people. And just know that the burden of you not reaching out and, you doing something drastic, to hurt yourself or someone else, or just to be, suffering and in pain, that's a worse burden to your loved ones than, you reaching out and for help and asking, and telling people, hey, I am going through something. So I think it's very important just to know that you can talk to people, and you should.
Yeah, 100%. The first person I'm gonna let Pinoy kind of go up first here tonight and talk about his amazing and wonderful friend, Alex, and I want you to obviously just speak about him and tell us a little bit about him, man.
Thank you. So when I was a freshman in high school, actually, I remember coming off a loss in my hometown. Actually, I mean, it really was horrible that I lost a very crucial match in the semifinals for a league tournament. It was my freshman year. I shook one of the coach's hands, and he checked on me, almost like he was like my big brother. And I remember just looking at him, telling him like, "Wow, this guy could honestly be my brother," because we share the same culture. And us being Filipino, because in the Bay Area, like the Filipino community is so tight knit. Then eventually down the stretch, I came out jiu-jitsu practice. The same guy who coached against me, I didn't know at the time. He looked familiar. He approached me and asked me like, "Hey, didn't you wrestle Logan?" I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He was like, I think you wrestled one of my kids. I coached this guy so and so." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember him." And then we had a very close, tight knit bond. And then I remember asking him like, um, how was wrestling for him? What was life like when he was in high school? Because I was a freshman at the time, and the whole aspect of figuring out who I wanted to be, or figure out my life in high school. He was there for me despite that. We were in different cities, and our schools were actual rivals. Then eventually he became a police officer, and that kind of shook me. I'm like, "Oh, so you just got the military and you're a police officer now? That's really cool." And then the first thing he tells me, like, "When you put your application," I'm just like, "Bro, like, I'm still in college right now." So we joked about it so much, and then we still kept in touch since then, and eventually we actually had class together. So right after he got out of class, he would go straight to duty, because the police station at junior college was like really right down the street. So it was amazing to like have class with them and work on scenarios together. And I will not forget this day. Like, I got a fix-it ticket after running a stop sign and not having a license or registration. The first person I text was my friend Alex. I'm like, dude, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I just got a ticket. I'm panicking. I guess I have your ticket, but not the stop sign ticket. I'm just like, yeah, how does that work? And then, yeah, he signed my ticket. And then a couple months down the stretch, the last time I saw him was June 2019. We had a festival in our hometown in the Bay Area. I remember this like yesterday, telling him like, hey, thank you for signing my ticket. I really went from like a $700 ticket to like a $300 ticket, which is crazy. And
saved you a couple dollars.
Oh, big time. That saved me a lot. And I remember just giving him a hug, and I didn't know what it was though. Like, I really kind of felt like that was the last time I was gonna see Alex that day. I remember just giving him a hug, telling him like, bro, like, I appreciate you so much. Like, not only did you help me out with the ticket, but you really did help me become the person who I am today. And I really appreciate everything since day one. Whether it's your department or any other department I hope to work for, I definitely would like to join your ranks as a police officer. And he had told me to keep my chin up and keep working hard no matter what. And the one thing he told me was like, hey, if you're gonna apply anywhere, please send me up and I'll get you in, preferably Hayward. I'm like, dude, that's my number one dream goal, to be a police officer, because I'm currently finishing my degree in criminal justice. Mm-hmm. Now, the hard part after that, we still kept in touch, and I know with our busy schedules, it really kept us apart. But he was still there for me when I needed him to be there for me. So it was September 19. No, correction, September 14, 2019. I woke up to a text message from a friend of mine that I knew from high school as well, who also worked with Alex. I literally just woken up, and usually when I wake up, like, it's kind of hard to like process something, but I just see a text message saying like, I know you and Alex are really close. I'm really so sorry for your loss. Keep pursuing your dreams and never give up. If you ever need anything, I'm here. And when I saw that, I just like woke up, like my brain finally just like woke up, and I'm just like, wait, what do you mean like Alex is gone? Like, I was just like talking to him like not that long ago, and I go on his Facebook post. I saw like hundreds of like comments, like on his Facebook post. I didn't want to see it because I wanted to see for myself, like, what is it I'm looking at, and the note was so long, but the important part that I took from it was, Alex was telling everybody like how much he loved the military, how much he loved being a police officer, and like how much the jitsu and wrestling community meant a lot to him, and how much that him serving our people and serving the country meant, meant something to him more than ever. Something that was something that he really did with pride and honors. What I didn't know was that he was actually going through something. Um, even to this day, like, I didn't quite understand like what he was going through, and he was talking about, how much he loved people, how much he loved to help others, even though he was hurting, and it was just really painful. Like, I felt that, and as I'm reading, as the note got longer towards the very end, he was saying that he accepted Jesus Christ as a savior, and he also said like, do not feel bad that the pain is no more. He just wants to be in peace, and I'll see you all in heaven. And when I saw that, like, my whole world like went upside down, and I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to think. I'm texting all my friends that knew him, like, hey, like, did you see this? Like, please tell me like this isn't real. Like, I try to call Alex, I can't get a hold of him. Then I called the police officer who worked in this apartment. He did confirm, like, I'm so sorry, but your friend Alex is gone. And I just got the call this morning too, right before you had called me. And my heart broke, and I didn't know what to think. Like, I was just like in shock. My heart rate was just going up, and like all the memories I had with Alex, really like shook me and struck me. Mm-hmm. And I asked the police officer, hey, what can I do at this point? Because I feel really hurt at this time, and I never knew how to deal with a loss like this. And he had told me like, if you know someone you can talk to or relate to, reach out to them. So at that point, I thought of a friend of mine. Her name was Christina Colane. She's a current NFL cheerleader for the Raiders. So I reached out to her because she was someone that I could relate to, and she was someone that I really became close friends with through the Raiders. And as we spoke, I told her like, "Hey, I'm really sorry if I'm reaching out day before a game. I don't know how to deal with a loss like this." And it was like a whole like couple months of process where I would reach out to her and let her know what I was going through because at first I was just relying on her like to really go through the pain that I was going through. And then eventually she had told me that there's people who do care for me, and it's okay to talk and reach out to others if you need to. And also too, that I'm never alone in this situation. But the one quote I have on my phone that she told me, it still means a lot to. It's if I take out the note from the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess as we talk, she was really there for me. I would check in with her, let her know how I'm doing. But till this day, like this quote means a lot to me, and she really did help me out with this. You have a strong support system who's willing to help. You're strong. Ask for it. Sharing your story is the strongest thing a human can do. Being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. It shows your sign of strength and bravery. Take it day by day, and you'll find your strongest self through all this. Find little moments of happiness for now, and take care of yourself. And when she had told me that, it didn't like sink into me because I was just really going through a cloud of pain and depression. As time went by, eventually things started to come around, but there was a time too where I had a friend of mine who was concerned for me because I was on the phone with them just telling them like how much life sucked without Alex, and school was like difficult at the time. It was my last year of my junior college. I was hoping to graduate from there and transfer out, but as time went by, I ended up not passing through the semester, and I got rejected at some of the schools that I applied to. So it was painful, and I remember telling my friend something. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I remember just telling him like I was just really hurt. I'm losing hope in life because from what I experienced was painful. I remember just having an outrage. I hung up the phone, and he tried to call me a couple of times, not because I didn't want to talk to him, but I was just like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I was just really reflecting back everything that me and Alex had together, had time together, and I was just going through it. Um, I mean, him as a friend, I don't blame him. He called the local police department to do a welfare check on me, and one officer came up to me along with his partner. I'm looking at these guys. I'm just like, great. Like, why are they here? Even though like I wanted to go into law enforcement at the time, like I was just like kind of bothered. Like, why are they even here in my house? I didn't even do nothing. And then one officer tells me like, "You're Eugene, right?" Which is my real name. And I'm just like, "Wait, how'd you know?" And then he tells you like, "Yeah, I knew you through Alex actually, and I was there at the funeral, and I was right there when you spoke about him. When you told everyone how much you look up to him and how much he inspired you to wanting to be a cop. That hit close to home, and when I heard about this call about you, I knew I had to respond. And from there on, I'm just telling him like what I was going through and how much pain I was struggling with when Alex had passed. And from that point, he gave me the guidance that I needed and told me what I need to do. And he told me like we could do one or two things. Like one like he could actually call an ambulance for me to get checked up, and that could hurt my chance to get into law enforcement. Or two, he would trust me that I would not be in a harm's way, or I wouldn't do anything to myself or others that would hurt him, and that he would want me to assure that I can actually get the help I need and talk to a counselor. So I texted Christina again that same week, like, hey, like I definitely want to talk to the counselor, but it's just really hard, and it's just hard to like open up about it. And she encouraged me to do so to speak to a therapist because that's what helped her out as well. And the one thing that she told me was, she's always there to listen, but she's hoping that I'm okay with reaching out to others and opening up with what I was feeling. So as time went by, I talked to therapists. I started to reaching out to people I can, trust and really look for guidance and hope through the pain I was going through. And then eventually, I picked myself up and kind of learned how to find myself again as a person. And eventually, as time went by, I created this wristband I made called All Gas No Breaks with Alex's badge number and his initial, as well as the T-shirt that Ali's currently wearing right now. And when I created these wristbands and T-shirts, I really felt like the pain was slowly but surely, healing was starting to heal and to go away. But at the same time too, like there are some times that I'd be going through it, knowing that like how much I miss Alex, and it's not so much that we can move on from the tragic loss in our life. It's more about like how we can move forward in life and accept that they may not be here anymore, but no matter what and no matter where we are in life, that they'll always be a part of us.
Wow, dude. So I think it's very courageous of you to be able to reach out to Christina and talk about what you've been going through, and it's important. It's great that she was able to help you and be inspirational to you and to help you, and those officers too, just to like help you get over the loss a little bit and to help channel some of that energy into something positive, like making the shirts and the suicide awareness bands and all of that stuff. I think that's kind of what you have to do sometimes after a loss, is find a way to channel the emotions into something productive and positive, and something that can maybe help somebody in the future. So big props to you for being able to do
Appreciate that.
So I know it's been 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah,
and that was something that me and Tina had spoke about. And she had told me that like one of these days I may come across someone who's struggling the same way as I have, and then I'm able to relate to them, help them out as in any way I can. Because when I be giving out the wristbands to people, I've had so many people told me like like they lost a friend or family member to suicide, and this story that I shared to them means a lot to them, and I tear up because I can relate to them. And then we all hug it out and keep in touch with each other because I want to make sure that they're doing okay, and then if they ever need anything, I always assure I'm there for them.
Let me ask you, number one, before I even ask, I appreciate you sharing your story, because I think we all have something and we've all been through something, and to hear somebody, even if it's a stranger, this is Pinoy's and I first time ever meeting or talking, and I definitely felt a sense of closeness to you.
Appreciate that.
And relatability, because and you'll hear from Dolph Freaky about Jay's story here in a few. We can definitely relay on that level. But what I wanted to ask you was, when did from the time Alex committed suicide to the time you had the police officers do a welfare check on you, how long was that?
That was like a 2-month span.
2-month span.
Yeah.
And I asked that because they say time heals all wounds. I think there's some truth in that. And there's also some, you're never truly going to get over somebody or a loved one or a family member or a friend. And you never know what somebody is going through when it comes to how they're coping with a situation like that. And so, again, especially if you know somebody that's dealing with this, I highly recommend you reach out to them on more than just one occasion, multiple times over
definitely.
Multiple span of days and weeks and months, and just be there for them. And if nothing else, even if they tell you every time I'm good, you just keep committing 3 times a week. Hey, I'm here for you. If you need to talk, let me know. Hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Hey, let's go watch the Dolphins beat the Raiders. Whatever it is. Okay? Whatever it is. Right. And I think that that's very important that we do for each other. And I make that known today because we have a good job as humans of masking our issues and masking our hurts, habits, and hangups, as well as just our feelings. And so we want to push people away when the reality of the situation is we need to let people in, and we need to let people share that hurt and that pain. And so I just wanted to throw that out there as just a note for people to kind of put in the back of their minds.
That's a really good point too. And like everybody's grieving process is a little bit different. And, there's going to be situations where your grieving process gets easier and then, something happens and the wound reopens. And so, like even like here we are 3 years later and we can still cry about it because it can feel that fresh, like when you think about the memories and you think about the regrets and the hurts and all the things that are associated with something like this, sometimes it just comes back to rear its ugly head again. And so we have to continually, we bring ourselves up, we bring ourselves down. Like we have to, continually work at it and talk about it. And I'm glad we're all doing that today.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing that Stephen was saying, not so much with it's to me in my experience, and from what I was told, and as I process it, it's not so much with time can only heal wounds. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, Ali, like everyone's grieving process is so different. Like some people get better in the span of weeks, months, or days. I don't like to give out a quote saying like how long it'll take you to, overcome the hardships or tragedies that you're going through. But one thing is for sure, for someone like me who grew up with kindness and like someone like me also emphasize with, I do believe that wounds heal through love as well. Because in my experience, whenever I feel people like showing support or like doing anything like kind to me, it means a lot to me, and I feel like those wounds I have is starting to heal. Because I remember at some point in time, I went out to Buffalo Wild Wings, just getting myself some dinner and had a drink to myself. Someone came up to me and asked me like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I told him like some of the stuff I was going through when I lost Alex, and it turned out that person I spoke to happened to you, Alex, as well. Through college, and we were just chopping it up, talking, and I told him like I'm creating this T-shirt in honor of Alex. If you would like to support, let me know. And he was all for it, and sadly, I really did forget to keep in touch with him from that point until I ran into him recently at the grocery store. He ended up paying for my meal and drink and told me like, "Hey, keep your chin up. You're doing great things in honor of your friend, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm here for you if you ever need anything." And that meant a lot to me.
Hey, man, definitely. All right, so we wanted to talk about two wonderful, amazing people, and we got to know a little bit about Alex, and now we're going to get to know a little bit about our Dolphin, our brother, Jay Villa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on another friend. This guy is a really, really close friend of mine. I love him a lot. He was very close with Jay Villa, and I'm going to let him tell his relationship and his story with Jay. And I'm going to bring him on now. His Eric Carrier, the from Dolphin, Southern New England. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's
going on, man?
Hey,
I'm glad you could
come
on with us tonight.
Ali, Steven, Raider fan, what's up?
No, you go Pinoy.
Pinoy, Eric Pinoy.
Nice to meet you, man.
I just want to put this out there. As a Raider fan, I know like we all rep our teams, we all love our team, and when our teams go at it, it's all business. We all support our teams, but at the end of the day, football is family, and I got love for the Miami folks and Dolphin fans out.
We got
there,
love for you, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Definitely
that.
got love for you.
This is a really big part of me, and for us to share a cause like this and to honor our loved ones, it means a lot to me. And this is the whole aspect of me saying football is more than just a game to me, and I do emphasize that.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all football fans of our own teams, but the NFL's a family, man.
Definitely.
When we get together, what's football if you don't have somebody else to banter with or cheer against or have that fun rivalry with? Dolphins Raiders isn't a big rivalry. It's not like me here living in New England. You know what I mean? I have tons of Raiders. I have tons of Raiders friends. And at the end of the day, it's a sport, and our love for our teams that brings us all together. So
yeah, definitely. Despite that, go ahead.
No, I wanted to allow Eric to obviously talk about Jay Villa and introduce us to Jay's story and your relationship with him. So I want to let you go talk about that.
Yeah, so Jay and I met, probably 6-7 years ago. Brad Wimes,
shout out to Brad,
myself, and Jay, really became close, just based off the love for the Dolphins. Brad and I had met in New York probably 10 years ago now. We hit it off. We just became friends, and then we both ended up in New York, in Miami, and found ourselves wandering in East 12. And when you wander into East 12 back in the day, you tend to run into the loudest guy, the biggest guy, and the most loving guy in East 12, and that was Jay. Mm-hmm. One of the first times, I met him, he literally almost caved my chest in with a punch, welcoming me to East 12. And, just we partied all together that weekend. Brad and I went our separate ways, and then all of a sudden a text group, I believe, was started by someone, either Brad or myself or Jay. And when I tell you that we talked nonstop every day, FaceTimed 10, 15 times a day, texted each other more than we texted our wives. It was a true brother. We talked about everything, every issue that we had going on. Panoy, I know you don't know us, but myself and Brad are military guys.
Thank you for your service.
We've both deployed overseas multiple times, and Jay, even though he never served, was about as much of a veteran without serving as you could be. You would never know from his love for the country that he didn't serve. Everybody just assumed that Jay served in the military. So the three of us formed this bond that I honestly don't know if I'll ever find again. Obviously myself, Brad, and our group are all are close. But when Jay left us, man, it left about as big of a hole in our friendship circle as a hole could be left. To this day, I bet you yep, look at this right here. So right before Jay left us 3 years ago, September, I ran into him. I was getting ready to leave on a cruise that either February, I want to say either January or February, and he calls me and he heard I was staying in Plantation the night before our cruise, and he goes, "I'm coming to meet you. I got a gift for Jackson," who's my son. Jackson only knew Jay as Uncle Jay. He would FaceTime. Is Uncle Jay? He would know his voice. Jackson was only 3-4 years old at the time. Is Uncle Jay? Tell him I said hi. And Jay gave Jackson this football. Jackson will not lose this football. It was in a display case up until probably a month ago. And then he's like, "Dad, can we play with the ball Uncle Jay got me?" That's the kind of person Jay was. You could go without seeing him for an entire year, and then he would call you randomly when he knew you were in the area and just swing by and meet up. And cool. That was the last time I ever saw him, unfortunately. We talked every day, even after that, and then nobody knew. Myself, Brad, hold this huge burden on us because we talked to him every single day, 10, 15 times a day, and we had no idea, the struggles that he was going through until, even when he was distant, because the signs were there, we missed him. Unfortunately, the signs were there, and I missed him. And
hey, Garrett.
There we go. We're back. We're good.
Yeah, we're back, buddy.
We're good. The signs were there. He went dark on us for probably a month or two before we get the phone call that he was no longer with us. And it's so tough for guys like Brad and I, because we couldn't just drive over to his house and drag him out of his house. I live in Massachusetts. Brad lives in Virginia, and Jay lived in Sunrise. So, we had no idea. And you truly have no idea what people are going through until, unfortunately, it's too late. And, Jay, being one of my closest friends, was very hard to deal with. I've dealt with suicide being in the military, going through Iraq, Afghanistan. I've lost probably close to 20 people that I've served with now to suicide. And nothing has hurt like losing Jay. He was one of a kind.
So. My condolences, brother, and thank you for your service too. Ever since Alex had passed, law enforcement and the military has meant a lot to me more than ever. And I remember attending his funeral, seeing the military, bury Alex the way they do it, like how they shoot the guns in the air and present the American flag to his family. It hit closer to home, and it's almost like what you see in the movies. And when I saw it in real life, it's like, wow, like. And this is like, this is different, but the loss of, my friend Alex hurt way more than I ever felt.
Yeah, it's tough when you just don't know, and it's when I was with Jay, one of the last times we were driving together, he was such an animal, you would have no idea. He'd like to drink like anybody else. He liked to drink like anybody else. And I remember it was New Year's Eve, and Brad went to a party at OJ McDuffie's house.
Yep.
And Brad, in the most polite way, suggested that Jay and I don't go because Jay and his wilding out ways.
We're not gonna mess well at OJ's party.
So Jared, Orange Tux, Brad, and his wife, I believe, went to OJ's house, and I went out on New Year's Eve with Jay. And we went everywhere, from Twin Peaks to Hooters to Bow Campers, and he was like zigzagging across the street in Davie. And at one point, I was screaming in the truck because we were probably going 120 miles an hour, and he took an exit. And he's like, if we die, we die together, bro.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's the life. He lived on the edge. He lived on the edge.
He was an absolute animal. And I think that's what caught us all so much off guard, because he was as anti-suicide as they came. He politicked for 22 a day, the military, and then all of a sudden, he fell victim to it, and none of us knew. Allie lives down there. We all knew him as close as family, and none of us knew, and that's the hardest part for me.
For me too. And it's funny because you mentioned, you living far away and like not being able to do anything about it. And I don't live far away. I live an hour from Sunrise, and I could have gone, and like I live with that I didn't go. Like I could have any day went to his house and knocked the door down and been like, what are you doing? Why are you off social media? How come you're not answering us? Like I literally could have done that, and I didn't. And so that is definitely something that weighs very heavy on me.
So one of the things, Allie and I, We probably talk what? I feel like we talk
Daily.
almost every day. We talk almost every day. Allie's one of my best friends. A lot of people don't realize that she is.
I'm glad to hear that.
She's all right.
She's all right.
I can't wait to see you all in 3 weeks, FYI, both of you.
I know. I can't wait either. So it was really good seeing you for week 1. So we had a crazy weekend. Week 1, we had a party the night before. We had a big tailgate, and it was really good to see you guys again. And also week 1, we did a butterfly release for Jay, which was just so cool. And it was everything I wanted it to be. And we released 50 butterflies in his honor, and I cried in front of everyone. And it was special to have you guys there.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to say what I want to say, and
you don't have to censor anything with us.
No, it's not that. It's I do a daily show every day, and there's a lot of arguing. Eric will tell you. There's a lot of arguing, and and it's fun debates most of the time, but there's times that it can get a little personal. But it's one of the best parts about being a part of this community, fans, social media, YouTube, whatever, is the people I've gotten to meet and the relationships I've gotten. Eric and Allie are closer to me than my own family, besides my wife and kids. And I mean that. My parents live in North Carolina. I talk to them every couple of weeks, maybe. And I haven't talked to my dad in a long time, but that's another story for another day. But that's neither here nor there.
My parents in 8 years.
Yeah. So I am. You guys are my family, right? You guys, if I'm in a jam or in feeling some type of way, I'm calling you, right? I'm Cameron from East 32. I love him, Solo. He's my brother. I would do anything for him. And I've gotten all these relationships through football, through the Miami Dolphins, through that.
I wouldn't have nearly as many friends as I have if it wasn't for football.
I'm almost convinced I would have committed suicide if it wasn't for the Dolphins. And I mean that. I've been in some rough, dark places, and if it wasn't for football, I don't know where I'd be. And so, I got to know Jay his last couple of years, through Solo, through you guys, through the tailgates. And when he passed away, it made me appreciate you guys even more. It did. It did. Your relationship. When people are arguing within our community, I hate it. I've told you both this many times. I hate when our community fights within each other, because there's beautifulness and kindness everywhere. And we all want to see the negativity or the negative side. And what I want to see and what I want to show people is the spread kindness, positivity, and love. And I know the world doesn't work that way, but it should.
Definitely.
And I love doing what I do every day, but I love the relationships I've gotten to make through it 10 times even more. Even when Eric is picking on me for the entire first weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never.
So I literally would not be here doing this at all if it wasn't for Jay, because he was the one who brought me into the fold. He found me through social media.
Displaced dolphin.
I was the displaced dolphin living in Pennsylvania, and I had this silly song and dance that I did, and he loved it. Like he reached out to me through Facebook and was like, "I love that. That is so awesome." And here I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this is like so corny. I don't know why I did this, why I put myself out on the internet like that." And he just wanted to watch it on replay all the time. And then eventually, like, I made my way through the contest, and that's all history. But when I finally got down to Florida, he was like, "You need to come to the tailgate. You're one of us. You belong, with the deep end and East 12, and you fit right in. You need to come." And so, I was super hesitant to meet some stranger from social media. Like, even Jared was like, "Are you sure about this guy? Like, do you like know him? Like, well, we talk on social media all the time, and he says, we need to do this, so we're going to the tailgate, whatever." And he just showed us the best time, and the rest is history from there because we kept going back. And we just had so many good times, traveled to Atlanta together. It was so much fun.
Oh, that Atlanta trip was the best.
It was
Solo still talks. You and everybody talks. I didn't go. That's the one trip I didn't go, and I regret it.
Was that the game was that the game in 2017 when you guys beat Atlanta fresh off the Super Bowl?
Yes.
We picked off Matt Ryan. Rashad Jones picked him off to end the game because they were going to win.
Yeah, that's funny. You guys, that's funny. You guys mentioned that because I have a buddy in the Bay Area. So, the Bay Area is like really huge. I don't expect y'all to know the area too well. So he's from Santa Clara, which is like 15 minutes away from Levi Stadium. So my buddy, who's a Dolphins fan, was actually at that game, and then I forgot who the Raiders played that day. We took a huge L, and I was really upset. And he Snapchat me saying like, "Haha, the Dolphins got to win. What happened to your team?" I'm just like, dude, stop. Like I was just like, oh, like upset. And when he mentioned that, I'm like, Jay, it popped in my head.
Jay was so drunk. He was like 4 rows behind us. He jumped up in the air, but was so drunk he landed 4 rows in front of us.
There's video of it.
Oh my God.
There's video of it.
Videos. Because we had like 15 of us in 2 rows in one.
And
section.
That stadium is so steep. The way they have the seats, it's easy to jump 4 rows.
It was that picture that NorCal posts every so often with all of us, like just pure unfiltered love in that picture, excitement and happiness in that picture. And that Atlanta trip, man, we were there, 4 or 5 days, and we just did everything as a group.
It was really fun. And he was so crazy running around the city, talking to bums and like just being a total hoot. And that was just how he was. He was just fun loving and like the guy that you want to party with. And, I just wanted to be around him all the time. And then, we talked every day and, I'm sure like he confided in me with a lot of things that like he's not telling the guys, like you tell your girlfriend, different things, a little bit more like caring approach. And so, he did confide in me in a lot of things, but his mental issues were not at all on my radar. And so when I finally heard that news, like I literally was in a state of shock and I couldn't stop crying. Like I just couldn't stop. And for like years later. And so this is crazy. So like right after that whole year was just such a whirlwind because this happened right before the season. And so the first game of that season, we had like a memorial and like a balloon release. And I wanted to show you guys this because this is something I can't understand why, but this is one of the balloons from the balloon release 3 years ago, and it still has air.
That's wild, by the way.
Still has air.
3 years ago, and it's still.
I remember that.
Look at his picture. It's like, and so this
the
is
things
so
we
special
keep.
to me. I keep, and this was the balloon that wouldn't leave. I, threw it up, and it wouldn't leave me. So like, there's little signs like that I've taken from his passing, and so I always have that like right here, and like the mess of all the wigs and everything. But I feel like it's a good luck charm of some sort.
One of the things that Allie called me and she goes, "Hey, I want you to do can we do a podcast on your channel tonight?" And it was a few weeks ago. I was like, I'm exhausted. We need to figure this out.
That.
But
we rescheduled a few times.
We rescheduled a couple times, but
we needed to get it done in this month, though.
No, yeah, I don't blame you guys because I'm not gonna lie. That week 1, I was really dead tired from the game I attended in Los Angeles because I literally took an 8 a.m. flight after having like 4 hours of sleep, and then I took 2 train rides back to my city, took an Uber, and then as soon as I got home, I put all my luggages in my room, got my keys out, then drove straight to class.
Yeah, see, that's a dedication.
I was about to say the things we do as fans. There's definitely been times when I've been on when I had a 9 to 5 and I would come home after a weekend and go straight from the airport to go to work. It's been like that, but I thought it was important to tell these stories tonight because hearing about Alex and hearing about Jay. Alex and Jay are us. Alex and Jay are the people that are listening and watching right now. right? Like they're every single one of us. You never know what somebody is going through. You don't know they're hurt unless you ask those questions, unless you reach out. We talk about the signs were there and we just didn't see it, or we didn't ask the right questions, or we didn't get deep enough in our relation. Whatever the case is, I can speak to my relationship with Eric and Allie, and I have told them on numerous occasions, I'm here if you need me. If you need to talk, I'm here. I'm always here for you too. And it's the same thing with anybody I interact with. I'm here if you need to talk. Whatever you need to talk about, I want to be here. I want to talk to you. I want to be that friend, even if it's 2 a.m. and I'm dog tired. If I don't pick up, I'll call you. If you say, hey, look, 911, as soon as you see this, give me a call, whatever it is. So I think it's important that I say that out loud, because what I want people to understand is that you guys have friends like Jay and Alex. Okay. You guys have friends like Jay and Alex.
Yeah, definitely.
And that are watching in the chat right now, or watching at home, or are going to rewatch this on replay. You all have friends like Jay and Alex. And all I ask is that you reach out to them and you ask the right questions. Hey, I know I said, what's up? How are you doing? But don't give me a straight.
Really, how are you doing?
Like, is everything okay with you? Do you need to talk about anything? Get deep.
One of the biggest signs. One of the biggest signs is I'm fine. Hey, what's up? You good? I'm fine. Nobody that's fine or is doing good just says I'm fine. You know, and a problem I find is especially being a military person, is the stigma of it not being okay to not be okay. You don't want that out there. You don't, hey, I'm struggling. Suck it up. Stop being a bitch. Men don't cry. You know what I mean? And that's a stigma that unfortunately we need to get away from. And, there's a great shirt for suicide awareness out right now. And it literally says, it's okay to not be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
And, all you got to do is reach out, because there's people willing to listen. They may not know what's going on, because you may tell them, I'm good, I'm fine, but it goes both ways. You need to dig in deep to your friends. Hey, are you really good? Like what's up? Like, when I know my friends well enough to know their mannerisms, their attitude, the way they talk, if something's not right. Right. And that's how everyone needs to be with their friends.
But to pause you on that statement though too, even though you might know some, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying people in general, no matter how well you know them, ask the deep questions, because you never know what they're masking or hiding or covering up, or feeling guilt and shame about, or just feeling like they're alone. Because it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're not alone. You're not alone. I'm not alone. I struggle with mental health. I struggle with depression and anxiety, severe depression and anxiety. And I'm telling you, it's a bitch. I hate it. I hate it. There are days I wake up and I want nothing to do with getting out of bed. Nothing. Yeah. Hate it.
I can definitely relate there. And something that Tina had, I learned from Tina, was the Ask 5 challenge. Asking 5 people a day, like, hey, how are you doing? And also checking in with them and see how they're doing overall, internally. Not so much about like you want to hear like what you guys mentioned, like, oh yeah, I'm fine, or I'm okay. You really should ask like how they're doing mentally as well. And like we all mentioned earlier too, or what we emphasized, that we never know what anyone is going through, and being able to talk it out with others, it does help a lot ease the pain from what we're going through. And for me, coming as a wrestler too, I had this stigma of mental toughness, that like because it's not so much that I got it mixed up. It was just like the ego I had in me saying like, I was a former wrestler. I'm a guy. I shouldn't be able to cry or like talk to anyone about this. But at the time, it made my feelings worse, and I was just really going through it. But once I took the time to really open up and share my story to others, and talk to people I could trust. I really felt like there's a whole sense of there's another side of me I never thought I would, eventually find in myself, being able to share my story to others and being okay, not being okay, and showing that vulnerability is a sign of strength and bravery. And every time that people were to tell me like, "Hey, like you're a guy, you should toughen out," I'm like, I could be tough time to time, but my definition of toughness that most people wouldn't expect out of me is being able to open up some of the struggles that I've been through and like how I'm able to not only like help myself but help others as well go through the same struggle that I've been going through.
100%. Color. I appreciate you sharing that because it's 100%. You're 100% spot on, Pinoy. Like 100%. Color said, and for the people that don't get phone calls, ask for help, because that's the other thing too. The same thing with Alex and Jay's stories. The one thing that Alex and Jay didn't do
was ask for help.
They didn't ask for help. And so if you are the one that is hurting right now, there's plenty of ways. You can call your friends. You could call 988, the Suicide Prevention Hotline. I mean, if you just need somebody to talk to or need support, call it. 988. It's three numbers.
Call me. Message me. I'll give you my cell phone number. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you're struggling, you need help. I'm here. Whether I've known you for 10 years or you need help because you're listening to us now.
It's a real thing. And I'm glad we did this tonight because it needed, in the words of Tyreek Hill, it needed to be said.
Yeah, it did.
It definitely. Man, I'm glad you guys got Tyreek Hill. Like, I have like
us too.
I have like a whole like different outlook of him now, like going from Kansas City to Miami.
You probably appreciate him a lot more now that he's out of your division. You're welcome.
Well, not just that too. Him and Jalen Waddle did save my fantasy teams because I was taking a whooping at one point, and then I had like a comeback. And the end of the
welcome. You're welcome, Pinoy.
End of the week, I saw like I have them in 3 different leagues. I ended up winning by like 10 to 15 average, just having both those guys. I'm like, shush.
There you go. You're welcome.
Roach said, during my attempt, I called a fellow chief at 4 a.m. and he was able to get me to the hospital where they were able to save my life. Best phone call I ever made. I love you, Roach, and I'm glad.
Oh my gosh.
That's.
I like picking on Roach.
Glad you're here, Roach.
I love Roach. Roach is a good dude.
And
the one thing that makes me happier than his bad two it takes.
The one thing I forgot to mention too, actually, another way I carry Alex as well, which is always something I wanted to do, and I'm glad I got it over with. I was in Vegas on my birthday weekend. I was living there for like 6 days right before I went to school, before I transferred to Ford University. I found a tattoo shop at the mall, did not expect this, and before I got it, I was like, I'm gonna call my mom and dad first, knowing how strict Filipino parents are. 30 minutes later, I got a tattoo right here that says
all gas.
Zoom in
no
on that,
breaks.
Steven.
I
Zoom
like
in
it.
on it.
It says all gas, no brakes. That was Alex's favorite motivational term. And then months later, I got Alex's badge number and initial, AZ383. And the reason why I got the red, white, and blue color, because he was also a military veteran and a police officer. And ever since I got that, it meant a lot to me more than ever. And when people ask me, like,
you feel closer to him. You feel closer to him.
Yeah, definitely. And
it gave you some sense of closure.
If we got Jay's favorite saying tattooed on us, we'd all be
that'd be dope.
I will do it. Don't tempt me with a good
Zero
time.
fucks given.
Zero fucks given. That was
I
Jay's.
also have I have a tattoo for Jay, and I will say that it's given me a lot of closure. Like, I don't know why, but just the act of doing that just made me feel a lot better, and it made the tears come less frequently.
Yeah,
let me tell you, Allie. I know we were busy week 1, so I didn't get to.
Yeah.
A lot of people after Jay's ceremony saw me walk away.
Yeah.
For a certain reason, we won't get into it.
I know why.
I'm sure you're aware. And I went 0 to 100. I was ready to fight someone just because of the situation. Nothing against you or anybody else. And as I was getting ready to lose my mind, a goddamn butterfly hit me square in the face.
See that?
Was Jay calming you down?
And I was like, I looked at Brad, I looked at Wade, because they were both trying to calm me down. And I literally started crying because it was Jay, like calm down.
It's all good.
And I had Jess crying in my face, and I was like, listen, no more ceremonies and memorials when there's alcohol involved.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, the butterfly thing is just something that we can't ignore, and it was something that I just started noticing that there was butterflies.
Jay watched the game with you in the suite.
Yeah, so oh my god, so
a butterfly made its way into the suite inside the stadium.
Over the course of like some of our like craziest games, like we've seen butterflies come down to the deep end and sit on
in the stadium this weekend.
Yeah, we might see a butterfly this weekend.
Can that butterfly?
I hope he hits Josh Allen right in the eye.
Yeah.
So is that deep end like your guys' nickname for like the end zone? Because for the
like the black hole.
The black hole,
like the dog pound.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like, why would there be butterflies inside the stadium, right? So we kept seeing this like same butterfly like coming like every game, and it would stop and like stay on somebody and then move to the next person. It was like so very deliberate, and we're crazy and everything. So it's like, why is this butterfly here? So we just started like saying, okay, that's got to be Jay, and then the day that I decided to get the tattoo, my friend Amber called and she said, I found this suicide awareness butterfly, and it has the semicolon, which is the symbol for suicide prevention and awareness. Which is basically like, like in punctuation, you keep your story going, you pause and then you continue. You don't end your story with a period. So she shows me this and I'm like, okay, that's nice, and she's like, well, I want you to get it with me. And I'm like, well, I don't love it, like it's fine, but I don't love it. And as I'm on the phone with her and I pull my car up I'm getting to work, a butterfly landed right on my car.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm doing it. And so that very weekend we got the tattoos. I have mine on my ankle. She has hers on her wrist. And then, so that's why I decided to do the butterfly release, do something better than like a balloon release, where you don't like harm the environment, and then at the game,
we were harming butterflies because they were dropping to the ground.
No, I don't think we didn't lose too many. I don't think.
No, we didn't lose too many.
We didn't lose any. We didn't lose any. Okay, guys, we lost.
I didn't see any, so I don't know. But yeah, so that day
they all flew away.
I also had a butterfly. Safely. I had a butterfly smack into my shoulder as I was going to the porta potty before the ceremony. And then also after the game, JD called and he said, you're never going to believe what's in the suite. And I'm like, what? And he's like, there's a butterfly on the wall.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, no way. Like, I'm coming right now. So I went to the suite and there it was. The butterfly was on the wall. And I put my finger up to it and it got on me. And I said, okay, let's go. So I took it, through the stadium. It stayed with me the entire way through the stadium. And when I got out, it took off. And I was like, okay. So like, amazing.
Is that the same weekend when you guys had like multiple cars that got burned up?
Yes.
That was. Thank you, Pinoy, for bringing that up. We appreciate it.
My goodness.
Listen. Is it really?
That was Dolphins fans.
I honestly laughed when Ali posted her story saying, when they say Miami Dolphins tail gets lit, literally this is it. I'm like, oh my
it was
goodness.
lit. All right, literally.
Yes. It literally was. But it wasn't our tailgate, so just
it was not.
I'm glad to hear it.
Way far away by a stupid Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Of course.
All my Patriots buddies were messaging me, and I said, "Is it really a party if something doesn't get burnt down?"
No, I don't condone that.
Oh my goodness! It's just funny how
both our teams, honestly, are like in a party city in Las Vegas, Miami. It's just like I party because, like, me traveling to Vegas, I party with my brothers and sisters at the Raider Nation, and I know the season's like really like brand new right now, but we do play you guys next year, Miami. Fingers crossed. I'm really hoping I can come out to that game.
We hosted a ton of Raiders fans.
Raiders fans
are
great. Raiders fans are amazing.
That night game.
And I just realized right now, guys, we have the north, south, east, and west up here.
Oof.
We have Eric, who's in the north, Ali, who's in the south. I'm in the east in Baltimore, and you're in the west and where are
California.
You at?
I'm like near Oakland, California.
All right, you were on the west, so you can't get more west than that, and you almost can't get more east than me. And you almost can't get more north than
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got the north, south, east, and west up here.
Yeah, it's crazy how we're all different time zones and we all.
I was about to do final thoughts here.
All right. Go ahead. I'll wait then.
You'll wait. Okay. Well, look, we didn't want to stay on a lot today. We appreciate y'all joining us today. This was really important. One last time, if you or a loved one or a friend needs somebody to talk to, please call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you know someone needs support, call or text now. You can chat at 988lifeline.org. It's really important that you guys do that. 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline. Mm-hmm. It's 3 numbers down instead of a whole big number. I want to give a big shout out to Alex and Jay. We love them, but and I miss both of them. But their stories are hopefully going to be a prevention for that next person to not make that, and so yeah. So I will let everybody say their final thought here. I'll start with Eric, since Eric needs to go anyway.
I don't need to go. I just want to watch the end of the game. No, it's just it's just about reaching out to your friends, and if you don't hear from your friends, go and find your friends. All of us, in East 12 and the deep end, I think that's
East
all
32.
of our biggest regrets.
Mm-hmm.
In East 32, can't forget Cameron's crew. I think that's all our biggest regrets is we didn't go. When we knew something was up, we didn't go. So if you think something's wrong, or someone's going dark on you, or they're just not the same person, go drag them out of wherever they are.
Yep.
It may take a few people, may just be one person, but rally around your people that are struggling, because they truly do need it. They may not even realize they need it, or they may not want it.
Yeah, even if they push you away, you stand there with your feet firm and you go back every day, or you go call every day, or whatever you got to do. You just make sure that every single day they wake up, they know that there's somebody there. When they're ready to talk, they will.
Just check on your friends. That's all. That's all I've ever preached since this happened, was check on your friends, because you truly never know.
Yeah.
Pinoy, final thought.
My final thought, I know it's hard to lose a loved one, but no matter what it is that you're going through, I'd rather hear your guys' story, hear what you guys are struggling with, rather than being at your funeral, because being at Alex's funeral was like the hardest thing that I've ever experienced. And since then, it made me appreciate life so much more. And I really do hope sharing my story with some of the struggles I've been through, and like how I was able to persevere through the adversity I've been through, knowing that it made me a better, stronger person. And I never would have thought that I would have been able to overcome the challenges I've been through in life. And me getting into a 4-year college, which I got accepted to last year, really changed my life. And I felt like I was back on track in life, and I was back to who I wanted to be. My point being from there, I just want to let everyone know that no matter what you're going through, there's always going to be a positive light at the end of the tunnel. If you keep your chin up, and if you surround yourself with the people who's going to support you, more importantly, keeping your faith high, great things are going to happen. You're just going to have to believe and trust the process. But no matter what, though, you're never alone in your battle alone.
Allie?
I couldn't agree more. And I think we just all sometimes need to take a deep breath and just appreciate the beautiful things and the blessings. Go take a walk outside, go look at the flowers, do the things that make you feel good, and do them often. So I think we're all just very busy all the time. We're wrapped up in all these things that we have going on. And so just remember to take a mental health day for yourself, do something that makes you feel good and feel better. Reach out to your friends. We're here. Okay. Like, my DMs are always open. So please, it might take me a little while to respond, but please, we're here for you guys.
She's very popular.
Yeah,
Nobody's in my DM, so you can always get in my DM, and I'll be more than happy to.
Well, they're in the comment section here. Never mind the DMs; they're even in the comment section here.
If you guys are wondering what Pinoy Raider looks like at game day, this is part of my jersey too. I also do wear the Clone Trooper homie here, representing my culture.
Oh, I like it.
I had to
Let's go.
That
I
is
like
awesome.
it. My final thought is spread kindness, positivity, and love. That's what I'm about. That's part of my motto. Kindness. There's too much hate and negativity in this world. We all get upset, we all get angry, we all disagree. We're all going to have different viewpoints on different things, whether it be politics, whether it be a quarterback situation, whether it be how this team is ran or that team is ran or whatever we should do. Just understand that kindness cures all.
Yeah.
And part of having kindness is being positive. And even when there is no positivity, you got to find it. You can't look at the glass half empty. You have to always look at it half full. And I struggle with that, being in the mental health realm, with fighting off negativity, fighting off depression and anxiety. That's always tough to do. Don't get it twisted. And then love. Love is something that I think is the greatest thing in the world. Everybody says I tell them I love them, but the issue is I really mean it. But no, I have never met you, man. But I love you, brother, and I really mean that. And I think that's one of the things that makes me unique, but I don't even want to say makes me unique. It's one of the things that I hope spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, definitely.
I want people to spread love and not hate. Spread.
Tell you what, my brother and Rye love you.
Oh, they do for different reasons. Shout out to, they're great. I love both those guys. But yeah, I mean that's what this is. I didn't hesitate to say I wanted to do this, even though we had to reschedule a couple times. I knew this was something that was important to do. There's 16 people that are watching. I don't care that there's 16 people watching. It's 16 people that needed to hear this, and there'll be more that'll listen, and they'll share this, and they'll do everything.
Yeah.
And somebody tonight needed to hear this. Somebody tonight needed to hear this message. And
thanks.
I'm glad I had this opportunity.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys. It was good.
All right. So again, 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline. If you need a friend, in the comments section, after this video is over on YouTube, please, just write a little note. We want to hear from you. If you need anything, all our social media is up here at Dolfreaky, at Stephen D SKPL, at Dolphins SNE, right? That's your Twitter handle, right?
That's Dave's, but I see other messages, so yeah.
Pinoy Rider is a Raider. Is that your?
Yeah, that's my Instagram and TikTok as well.
Awesome. You can hit us up at any time. We're always here. We appreciate you guys watching tonight. And again, I want to give a big shout out to two amazing individuals that we miss very dearly, Jay and Alex. We miss you both, but your time on Earth here was very valuable and loved, and we're happy that you are here. So I love you all, and we will see you next time on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. See y'all later.
See ya. Thank you guys.